Hello, welcome or welcome back to the channel. Your girl Vanessa here. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this flying bucket hat, which I got bullied for to get it done. So this hat does come with a written pattern, which is available on my Etsy. I'm going to leave the link down in the description box and in the comment section as well. This is an easy to follow tutorial. We just have to follow the steps, and I think that's all I've got to say. And yeah, let us get into the tutorial. Right, I'm using 4 colors of yarn here. I'm using yellow, orange, red, and black. Now, I know it is looking a bit very colorful. That's because I wanted the black yarn to show. So I'm using a 3.5mm crochet hook. I'm using scissors, measuring tape. I've got some stitch markers here, which are safety pins. And then you need a paper and a pen. We're going to use it soon. Just keep that beside you, please. Right, so I did brighten up the video a bit because I was working with black yarn and I did want you guys to actually see what we're doing. So start off by making a magic ring, and then you are going to chain 3, and all chain 3s in this project counts as a double crochet. Into the magic ring you are going to put 11 double crochets, so that we have a total of 12 double crochets. Like I said, our chain 3 counts as a stitch. And I just put a white paper. This is not what the white paper was actually for, by the way, but I just put it so that it's clearer with the black yarn. Yeah, so put 11 double crochets, so we have a total of 12 double crochets in our magic ring. To be honest, I was going to divide this tutorial into like part 1 and part 2. Let me know, do you guys prefer videos where they're like in different parts, or do you prefer like one full video of the tutorial? Let me know what you think about dividing into parts, because sometimes I feel like they're too long to watch. Yeah, just let me know. Okie doke, we are done with row 1, which is the 12 double crochets in there, and we're just going to slip stitch into the 3rd stitch that we started with from the chain 3, and that closes row number 1 of our hat, and you should have 12 stitches. Now we're going to get started with row number 2, so we're going to chain 3, and chain 3 of course counts as a stitch. And into that same space we are going to put another double crochet, because this row number 2 is made up of increases, so we're going to do double crochet increases into every stitch, which simply means where there's a stitch you're going to put 2 double crochets into that same stitch. So here we are, we're moving on to the next stitch. I know it's black yarn, I did try, I'm sorry. It is a fiery flame hat, so of course I had to use black yarn. It was only, yeah, so hopefully you have some knowledge on making like at least this. Okay, so I'm just putting 2 double crochets into every stitch. So if you can't see what I'm saying, maybe you'll hear what I'm saying. So that's what is showing. Then into the next stitch you put 2 double crochets, so 1 double crochet. Now this is the 2nd double crochet in there, and we're going to repeat the exact same thing into all of the 12 stitches. Okay, doke, when we get to the end, this is what our work should be looking like. I'm just going to slip stitch into the chain 3 from whence we started, and that ends row number 2. So row number 2 you should have a total of 24 stitches. Now row number 3, we are going to start by chaining 3 as we normally do, and here we're going to do our increases into every other stitch. So this is our 1 double crochet. Yeah, into the next stitch we are going to do an increase, and like I said, an increase is simply putting 2, apologize for that, is putting 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So that is 1 and that is 2, and into our next stitch we're going to put a regular double crochet, just 1 double crochet, and into the next stitch we are going to put a double crochet increase. So that's 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets into that same stitch. Next stitch, 1 double crochet. So we are just alternating between 1 double crochet and an increase, 1 double crochet and an increase, 1 double crochet. That's the entirety of row number 3. So make sure that, like, to know that you've counted correctly, you should end your row in an increase. Okay, so I'm just going to meet you guys back. Here we are. I'm just finishing off my increase. That was our last stitch, so we're just slip stitching to end row number 3, and row number 3 you should have 36 stitches in total, because we're just adding 12 stitches. Yeah, so row number 4 we're going to chain 3, and then you're going to put a regular double crochet into the next stitch. Then here you're going to do increases after every 2 double crochet stitches. So you're going to do an increase right there. So the easiest way to know where an increase is you check from the previous row where the increase was, then you put the next increase on the stitch between the previous row's increase. Okay, if you can't count, which is quite normal when you do crochet, you just look for where there's increases. So okay, after every 2 double crochets. Yeah, so we've done 2 double crochets, and as you can see right there, I'm pointing to like the increase from row number 3, and then I'm doing an increase right there. So I'm going to do 2 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and then the next stitch is going to be an increase, and if you look closely, that is an increase from row number 3. So that's just all it means. If you do it yourself with your work, you're going to see the same thing. So we're going to do the same thing until we get to the end of row number 4. Here we are, the end of row number 4. Like I said, to know that you did count correctly, you are going to end with an increase at all times, not a single double crochet, always an increase. So then you're going to slip stitch to join, and that completes row number 4. Now row number 5, you are going to chain 3, and then you're going to do an increase after every 3 double crochets. So that is our 1 double crochet, which is the chain 3. We just did our second, and here's our 3rd double crochet. Then we're going to do an increase right there. If you look closely, I know it's black yarn, but you can see like the tiny V, which shows like the increase from row number 4. So we're going to do a double crochet increase right there, and then we're going to do 3 regular double crochets. Now, depending on the size or the person that you're doing this hat for, you are going to take the circumference of the head of the person in inches. Then you are going to multiply that number that you have by 3.14, which is pi. You know, it's a circle. You know, mathematics, we still have it here in crochet. Multiplied by pi, which is 3.14 or 22 and 7. Then you subtract 1 inch. So the entire diameter of your circle, like when you place the measuring tape on it, whatever measurement that you've calculated you should have, that should be the diameter of your circle. So yeah, you're just going to keep going in the circle like this, alternating around and around, and doing the increases until you get to the desired measurement that you had for your own head measurement. Personally, I did mine slightly bigger because I've got braids in my hair. I have like jumbo braids in my hair. I did it as well for like the recent tutorial that I just posted of this lovely rose hat. I'll put the photo, you can check it out, check the tutorial out. Yeah, so I just made that lovely rose hat. The tutorial is up on the YouTube channel, and the written pattern is up on my Etsy as well. So yeah, you just go ahead and do like the circle, make it as wide as it suits the diameter of the head of the whole mathematics that we've just calculated. And in my case, it was 6.5 inches, by the way. And yeah, it was 6.5 inches. So that's my own measurement. I've got smaller head but big braids in. So yeah, that's my measurements. Now we're going to grab that paper and pen that I mentioned before, and I just want you guys to see the anatomy of a flame. Okay, this is why I brought the pen and paper, more like the structure or the flow of a flame. Okay, so this has obviously got a grid pattern and a written pattern, but I thought I should show you guys like the visuals. So this is like the top view of our hat. Please don't talk about the drawings. I don't want to hear it. So I'm just showing like the top view of the hat, like how the flame flows. I'm just showing you like how how flame goes when it comes to tapestry crochet. And this will, drawing out stuff like this is going to help you with visualizing how the tapestry goes, because a lot of people are asking me for this tutorial. And yeah, I just thought I should show you guys a visual. I'll show you a bigger one in a second. So this is the side view. The top view will look like that, and the side view, I just divided like my hat into 4, and I'm going to do it on the hat itself. Okay, I just need you guys to like see it, visualize it, like how the structure of a flame, like the flow of a flame. So I'm going to divide this paper into 2 as well, just like that. Then you're going to see how the flame flows, and we're going to use this sheet of paper to crochet our flame. So I'm just casually drawing like the shape of a flame using the 3 colors that I'm going to use making the flame. So that's red right there, and then I'm going to do like the orange, and then I'm going to do the yellow. Please, I'm hoping that this is going to make sense. Hopefully no one thinks this is stupid, but I kind of see things in like shapes. Normally I wing stuff. Okay, when people were asking me for the tutorial of that hat that I posted, the flame hat, the 2 flame hats that I posted years ago, the blue and the orange and red one, I winged that. Okay, because I see things in like shapes. So this is me just dividing my hat into 4 like I showed before, and those 4 points are going to have the highest points of my flame. All right, hopefully all of this makes sense. Please tell me that in the comment section, please. Right, so the 2 points are the 2 places where I put safety pins that I just pointed. That's where I'm going to put the highest most points of the flame, and I'm just going to crochet over there. So now we're not going to be doing any increases. By the way, I had a total of 7 rows for the flat top of my head, and now we're working on the body. So I just did like a regular double crochet, no increases, no decreases, no increases. And I've got these smaller red bows because they do help. And when I got to the stitch where I want to put in my first color, I made sure I had 2 loops on my hook. I didn't complete my double crochet. Then I pulled in the red color. Then I'm going to double crochet into that stitch where I want the first of the flame to be. I'm simply watching like the diagram that I have, which will be easier if you get the grid pattern on my Etsy. But I just want you to visualize what I'm seeing, because if you look at the flame on that paper that I've just drawn, it is the red that comes on first and it's pointy. Okay, so to switch back to the black yarn, I made sure I had 2 loops on the red yarn. I did that like an incomplete double crochet, then I pulled the black yarn through. And personally, when I am doing tapestry crochet, I like to pick and drop the yarn that I want to tuck. For example, I have this red yarn tail here that I want to hide. I am going to pick it up, and then I am going to drop it. So right here I'm picking up the yarn, then when I'm doing the double crochet in the next stitch, I'm going to drop it, pick up, drop, and that just changes everything for me, because it doesn't show like lines running through the entire hat. It will probably show a bit, but it won't be like intense when you pick up the entire yarn for the entire row. So I like to pick and drop the yarn that I need to tuck in. Right, that was a very long sentence. I was talking a lot. So yeah, I've just picked and dropped. So you see like that sort of staggered type of look, and it doesn't really show that there is yarn that's been tucked there. So this particular safety pin right here, I am not going to put like the highest point right there. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to go on to the next one. So this is the next safety pin. I'm just putting a regular double crochet. I'm going to put the pin back in, and I'm headed for the safety pin which was on the opposite side of where I was before, and then I'm going to put my highest point of the, what's it called, of the flame. Now I know it's taken 2 years to do this tutorial. That's because I find it hard to explain tapestry crochet. And at the time, I did get a lot of people, like, I don't know if I should say they were throwing insults. They were angry that I was too fast. It wasn't even a tutorial. I was just doing like a crochet with me. And then I posted it and people thought it was a tutorial and they were like, I'm too fast, I'm talking too fast. I'm like, this is not a tutorial. I didn't say anywhere that it was a tutorial. So why are you mad at me for something? So it's like they were bullying me wherever I posted the video that where's the tutorial, where's the tutorial? And it wasn't. That wasn't a tutorial because it is hard to explain. At the time I posted it, I didn't really know how to do like explain crochet tutorials. So now I am still struggling. I hope I do this justice to explain. I'm still struggling to explain, which is why I'm doing all the diagrams and drawing stuff just so you can visualize it. Okay, so I'm on the other side right now, and I really don't know how much I'm going to explain this for word for word, or instead I just let you guys watch. I'm not sure. So I am picking and dropping again, and then yeah, I've just put in like the next highest point for our yarn. As you can see, I'm just showing you, like, you see that it flares out, the red there flares out. So if it's flaring out, it means I need to do like a red on the stitch before the red from the previous row. So I'm going to do like an incomplete double crochet, pull the red yarn through, then into that black stitch before the red, I'm going to do a double crochet. Then I'm going to do a double crochet on that red, and then I am going to do a double crochet after that red that was on the next black. So the flame flows in like different directions, so you have the ability to control which way you want the flame to dance to. If you want it to dance more to the right, so make sure that you're leaning most of the red to the right and you're bringing in the stitches inwards. I don't even know if this makes sense, but of course there's going to be a diagram and yeah, a chart and everything on my Etsy, but hopefully all of this that I'm doing is making sense. It is nice to draw it out. I'm just saying. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing on the other side as well. When I get to the last but one, what's it called? The last but one stitch, I want to flare it out on the other side as well. So I am just going to do an incomplete double crochet, pick up my little winded yarn right there, and then do a double crochet. That's it. And here I wanted to introduce the orange in this one, so I just did an incomplete double crochet on the red and then pulled the orange through, and that orange is going to fit right in that middle red stitch from the previous row. Then I am going to do an incomplete double crochet and pick up the red again. So this is the thing with this, you have to be switching yarn. Okay, I know all of you asked for a tutorial, but you've got to be switching yarn, which is why I wrap them in smaller balls. I'm going to tell you a hack. I didn't do it. You should cut out like tiny cardboards and wrap the yarn around it, the tiny yarns around it. Just wrap them in the tiny cardboards. The yarn won't unravel and go everywhere. I didn't do that here, which is why you're going to see a mess, a big mess very soon. Yeah. So you just pick and drop the colors. Like I said, you can control the direction in which where you want your flame to start, and I do like to start the flame with like a red. You can do like 2 or 3 rows of red before you introduce an orange and then a yellow, and I'm not sure how else I can explain this. I don't know if I should just let you guys watch it. I didn't fast forward it too much. I tried to make this as detailed as possible. Honestly, I'm not really sure how to explain the flame. Yeah, so, because when I did that video, I winged it. Most of my videos of things that I make, I wing them. Christ, it's hard making tutorials for these. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, here I just decided to include another color between I think that was where one of the safety pins were. So I had, for my body, for this body of the hat, which is what we're working on, I had a total of 11 rows just for the body. This part that has no increases and decreases, this part that has the flame on it, I had 11 rows. So if you want to do more or less, you are going to control the way you want your flame to flow through all those rows. I think I should let you guys watch. I'm not sure what else to say. If you have any questions, please ask them down in the comment section. I'll just let you guys see like my hand movements and stuff. Right, as you can see over here, I did introduce the yellow that was after the orange, and from here on, you're just going to try to introduce, like, gradually move the flame in the direction that you wanted. And when you're getting towards the end, towards like the 9th, 10th, 11th row, you're going to try to flare out the yellow as much as you can so that it just comes out to the brim, if you catch my drift. So I don't know. Please, if you haven't subscribed at this point, please do. We got the subscribe button right there. It's free to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up if you do like it. Any questions, please ask them in the comment section. You can share this video as well. Just share it on Pinterest or something. And yeah, if you do make the hat, send me a photo on my email. I haven't got the other social media anymore. You can send on my email. It is servanscontact@gmail.com. I'm going to, yeah, the email's on the channel somewhere. So yeah, you can send me a photo there. What color scheme are you thinking? So I did this one in the red, orange, and yellow. I did the other ones in black as well. And I did matching sweaters for them, which is why people kept asking me for, like, they even asked me for the sweater tutorial. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So here's exhibit A of the mess that I had, which is why I recommend, like, cutting like a tiny square of cardboard and cutting a slit on the side and wrapping the yarn through so it doesn't escape. That will work. That will work perfectly well. So it does get messy. Pro tip, by the way, if you are making this, do not crochet too tightly or your bucket hat is going to shrink. Make sure your crochet hand is like nice and loose, especially when you're carrying the yarn. You don't want it to be too tight or it's going to make, one, your work is going to look wonky, and second, your work that was supposed to fit your head is going to be tight, and we don't want that. So just pro tip. Right, I think I'm going to let you guys watch. You can fast forward if you want. I am right now heading on to the brim. I'm leaving you guys here, so see you guys at the brim. Okay, I showed up before the brim because I have like another thing to say. When you are getting towards the brim, just make sure that at least all of the red yarn sort of meet up at the end, which is what I'm doing. I'm adding red yarn. You see me adding red yarn. If my red yarn's finished, I just want them to like join somewhere. Then I'm just going to flow with the yellow, if you get what I mean. So just make sure that the red on each of the flame pieces are at least touching each other before you like flow with the yellow. Okay, here we go. This is what our hat's looking like. And please, I did say something before I came to the brim. So if you've come to the brim, because I said come to the brim, I did mention something about making sure that the red yarns are touching each other. So hopefully you've watched the entire video, I didn't skip. Right, here we are, and we have like a full row of yellow, and this is basically my row 11 of the body. Right now we are about to start the brim. Our brim is made up of 4 rows, so we're going to chain 3, and we're working in the front loops only of row 1 of the brim. Front loops only, front loops only. Do you hear me? Front loops only. And you're going to do 11 front loop only double crochets, and then when you get to the 12th one, you are going to do a front loop double crochet increase. So right there, I'm going to do 1 double crochet, and into that same front loop I'm going to do a double crochet increase. Okay, yeah, so that's my increase, as you can see. Then we're going to do another 11 front loop double crochets. When we get to the 12th one, we are going to do an increase. Capiche? Right, so we are going to do that until we get around. Just do 12 double crochets, 12 double crochets everywhere, and you should have like 7 double crochet increases, because this entire part should be a total of 84 stitches, which when I'm making the grid is going to be 84 stitches, I think. Yeah, it should be. When you see the grid, let's see, I think it is. Yeah, so every 12 stitch an increase, every 12 stitch an increase, and that will be it for row number 1 of our brim. So working our first row in the front loop is going to make our hat flare out. I didn't want this to be like too flare of a hat. As you can see, it is flaring out, which is why I did increases like every 12 stitch. I didn't want it to be too flare out. I just wanted like a straight down bucket hat, which I loved it. I did love it. So row number 2 of our brim, we're working regular double crochets now, chain 3, and you are going to put an increase into, you know, the increase from the previous row. Wherever you did like the increase from row number 1, you're going to do another increase in there. Okay, so where the 12th stitch was, which in this case, since you did an increase, you'll probably be the 13th stitch, you are going to do a double crochet increase right there, and then you're going to do a regular double crochets, and then you're going to do increases, and then a regular double crochets. So just do like the alternation until you get to the end, and you're going to repeat the same thing for row number 3 as well, by the way. Row number 3, you are going to do the same thing. Wherever there was an increase from row number 2, you are going to do another increase right there. Same thing. Yeah, I'm just starting over and showing again. So wherever there was an increase, you do another increase, which will be on the 14th row now. You'll be on the 14th stitch right now. Hopefully you guys are counting with me and it's making sense. And yeah, and when you get to row number 4, we are going to have increases between the 12 stitches. Let me not make it that complicated. You're going to do increases into every 7th stitch. So you're going to do 7 stitches, do an increase. 7 stitches. This is the 4th row we are at, by the way. You're going to do 7 stitches, and then you're going to do an increase. This is me just trying to figure out like where the middle ground. which is basically you're going to have some of the stitches between the two increases from the previous round. Okay, but in order not to confuse you, row number 4 is 7 stitches increase, 7 stitches increase, 7 stitches increase, just like that, and then you're done with our brim. That's it. So I'm going to let you guys watch. And of course, when you're done, you're going to slip stitch and then chain 1, and then you're going to cut your yarn, and we are basically done with our bucket hat. Hopefully this was a helpful tutorial. Yeah, so we're please do tuck in all those loose ends. Don't leave them there. This is me hiding it. I just did peekaboo with that. So this is the final measurement of my hat. It's a total of about 9.5 inch. That's the height of my hat. And just the brim only was about 2 inches, I believe. Yeah, it was 2 inches. Brim is 2 inches. And yep, that is what we got. I think I was about to look for like where the body of the measurement was from where we started with no increases. That's what I was trying to find. I think that was about, was it 4 or 5? No, 6. No, 5. Yeah, 5.5. We got 5.5 for the body, 5.5 inches for the body. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys liked it. If you have any questions, don't forget to ask. Don't forget to get the pattern from the Etsy shop, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.